Life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A possible interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve kept stocks lower. We hear more on all of today's market activity from our financial correspondent Damian Troisi reporting from New York City.
Stocks fell on Wall Street Friday and the bond market swung. The S&P 500 index fell 0.2%. The Dow fell less than 0.1%. The Nasdaq Composite fell 0.5%. All three indexes still notched weekly gains. Gap surged after the retailer reported stronger profit for the latest quarter than analysts expected. Treasury yields jumped as Wall Street built bets that the Federal Reserve will likely raise interest rates soon in an effort to tame stubbornly high inflation. Oil prices fell but remained volatile amid the U.S. war with Iran. Higher oil prices over the last several months worsened inflation, which is sitting well above 3%. Damian Troisi, New York.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union here on the Sports Talk Media Network for week number 2, high school football in South Carolina with the High School League. Unfortunately, week number 2 is resembling week number 1 when it comes to the weather and interruptions with games and thunder, lightning, rain, and all of that. Rain, go away. So a lot of issues out there from that standpoint. We'll do the best we can to bring you up to date on everything, and we'll have folks calling in from across the state. A message to those who are listening to us and who are calling in. One-man band tonight, so I'm having to handle on-air and production. So if you call in, we'll put you on hold, and we'll put you on the air ice cold. So we'll ask you to identify yourself and what game you're covering. So do not hesitate to call in, those of you who are calling in. 888-898-2525 is that number, 888-898-2525. Let me welcome David Shelton, our expert analyst here on the High School Football Scoreboard. The best in the business, we call him Bib. High School Sports Report, Charleston Post, and Courier. Good evening, David. And I know you have a solution to this weather problem.
Yeah, you don't start playing games until after Labor Day.
That ain't never going to happen.
Period. That's the way it ought to be. You don't start practices until like the second week of August. Hell, they're practicing year round anyway, all through the summer. So, what's the difference in taking a week off and coming back?
Yeah,
it's. If they're going to complain about August weather, then don't play during August. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not rocket science.
True. But you can never predict the weather, David. I mean, we slide into September, and what are we going to get? Hurricanes.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, we have a tropical system once every 2 to 3 years. We have 110-degree heat and major thunderstorms every August. Every August, we have this situation. You go back and play tape 20 years ago, you and I are talking about this.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. Well, here's a flash for you. The NCAA announced today that next season and in 2028, the college season will begin in August, like August 28th. So they're moving their calendar up.
Well, whatever they do is what high school's going to do.
Yeah.
We'll be playing football games in the second week of July before long.
Seeing here a report from Thomas Grant that Dutch Fork and Ridgeview game's been postponed to a later date. Silver Foxes up 35-13. They're only in the second quarter. So, a lot of people thought this was going to be, I saw stuff about this being a big-time ball game, and it was a matchup, and Ridgeview had called this had this identified as a special game, da-da-da-da. But it ain't close at all, David, 35-13 with 2:08 to go in the half. So Dutch Fork in their season debut doing Dutch Fork things.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to finish this or why they would finish it if they weren't going to do it tonight. But, I mean, they both have schedules the rest of the way. But, yeah, I did not think Ridgeview would beat Dutch Fork, but I definitely thought it would be a little more competitive.
Yeah. How about this?
But I didn't know the story. I don't know how Dutch Fork. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's very competitive and there's some free plays. I don't know. That score just surprised me.
How about this? This has got to be a surprise as far as the margin. Strom Thurmond goes into Abbeville and shuts them out 33-0.
Yeah, Strom Thurmond's pretty darn good. They're gonna be hard to beat in AA. There's no question.
Okay, our phone number 888-898-2525. If you are calling us with a report, let's go ahead and jump on that on the lines here because we have a caller waiting from the upstate. So, welcome into the high school scoreboard. We don't normally do it this way, but identify yourself and tell us which game you're calling about. Welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Phil. This is Kevin Selman from TL Hanna.
Hey.
How's it going tonight?
Hey, well, you want to know about football or baseball?
I know about both, and we don't need to talk about the latter. But I will tell you that the Yellow Jackets. We started tonight at 6:30. There was some concerns about weather, so we kicked it off at 7:30. So we've been home and been over for a long time now. But the Yellow Jackets marched up 85 to Powdersville and defeated the Patriots 30-7 in a game that was really never close. Powdersville took the opening kickoff, and Hannah forced a turnover on their first possession to go up 7-0 quick, and then got the ball right back and then took it down for another score, and it was 23-7 at halftime, and the Yellow Jackets added another a touchdown late in the game to bring the final margin to 30-7. The Yellow Jackets rushed the ball 43 times for 213 yards, really controlling the line of scrimmage and the clock, and just kind of just phone booth football. That wing tee, it's a slow death, but it's a death for sure.
Tell us about the makeup there in the backfield, quarterback, running backs. Who's making that offense go back there?
So Will Mayfield is the quarterback for Hannah. He's a senior. This is his first year as a starting quarterback, but he does have some experience as a backup. Last year when our starting quarterback got hurt, Will Mayfield actually came in and started the Greenwood game that we won, and ended up being for the region. So he's his first year as a starter, but he's had some playing time in the past. And we've got here's a stat that you'll appreciate. I know you always enjoy hearing about Hannah running the football. We had 12 players carry the football tonight, 12 different players. And I tell our listeners while we're broadcasting the games, I said, I've been doing Hannah football for a long time, and I watch it every Friday night. But sometimes even we get lost because the misdirection and the way the wing tee runs. It's just hard to. I can't imagine trying to prepare a defense for that. But we had 12 different carriers, ball carriers tonight. Our leading rusher was Asias Carroll. He had 11 rushes for 78 yards and 1 touchdown. DeMarcus Duck, one of our fullbacks, had 7 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. And Brock Cole, another running back, 6 carries for 32 yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns. So it was a group effort tonight. We don't have one running back or one fullback that gets the majority of the carries. Like I said, we had 43 carries split over 12 different players.
That is balanced. Now, what's up next for you next week?
So next week, before I move on to next week, let me tell you that the key for Hannah this year so far has been their defense. Just smothering defense. Nobody's able to run the ball. Last week against BHP, I think they had 12 carries for 16 yards. They couldn't run it at all tonight. Powdersville only managed 50 yards on 23 carries, so a really smothering defense. We've given up a few big plays on passing the football. That's been our bugaboo so far, but the defense has been a strong point for Hannah. So next week, we'll be down your way. I mentioned to you last week you need to come out and see us. We'll be playing White Knoll down at Lexington next Friday night.
Hey, that should be a pretty good matchup. White Knoll usually has pretty good defense.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to seeing new places. We got that. White Knoll is. I'm not very familiar with them. I believe they're the Timberwolves, but I don't believe they've ever played each other. And that was the case tonight. Powderville and Tijuana not far apart by distance at all. But this is the first time in school history that they've played each other. So it was nice to go to a new place. We're the Road Warriors. Our first week we're on the road at BHP. Tonight we're on the road at Powdersville. And next week we'll be down in Columbia playing White Knoll before finally getting the chance to play at Jim Frazier Field the following Friday night. And that once that happens, we're there for 5 straight Fridays. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hey, very good. Thank you, as always, for calling in, leading us off tonight on the phones. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. You're going to make it down to LSU? You won't make it to LSU.
Yeah, I will. I'm not flying out till Saturday morning, so we'll come back from Columbia Friday night, and then I'll be down in Baton Rouge Saturday morning.
See you there.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Kevin Selman. How about that win by T.L. Hanna tonight and the way they did it, David? Pretty typical for them. When they're going to win games, that's how they're going to do it.
That's right. They're going to run the football and play good defense. And, they were – I picked them to win the game, and it sounds like they did exactly what they do very well.
Okay, some other finals. West Oak 17, Berea nothing. Clinton, with a touchdown pass with 2 seconds to play, beats Lawrence 29-22. Wow. So congrats to Clinton. How about Lawrence hanging in there? That's a good sign for Lawrence, David. Are they an improved team to hang in there with Clinton and lose in the final seconds?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely on the right track.
Gaffney beat J.O. Mann 43-10, and Greer over Union County 52-0. And we've got Gilbert beat AC Flora 24-14. Some of these games are Thursday night, by the way. It's a mixture. C.A. Johnson 52, Bethune-Bowman nothing. Blythewood 32, Richland Northeast 8, Crestwood 27, Goose Creek nothing. David, Crestwood, Coach Roosevelt Nelson. I was at the Sumter Touchdown Club today. They had a running back by the last name of Wofford, who last week went for well over 200 yards. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the running back sensation, the 9th grader from last year who's left the state and gone to Texas, wasn't he too at Crestwood? Yes.
They lost their best running back, and the other guy is pretty darn good.
I was going to ask you, what kind of running game does this team have, or did they have last year?
Well, they had a very good running game. They gave a lot of teams some problems last year. I can't remember the guy's name that left, but he was being recruited. He was going to be a prospect, and I don't know what they run offensively, but it's obviously a lot of power. I did talk to Goose Creek coach Jamie Fordham last week. We were talking about he was going. They got their first win, and they were going to Crestwood, and he's like, we fully expect it to be a much more difficult game than we had in the first game.
Yeah, turned out to be that way. Yeah, the young man who left, he's in Fort Worth, Texas now, and he's got major. He just picked up offers from Miami and LSU this week, so he's been getting offers going back months. Let's see, Dutch Fork, Ridgeview, Dutch Fork up 35-13. The game has been postponed until a later date with 2:08 remaining in the second quarter. White Knoll and Sumter. Sumter bounces back from their loss at Somerville last week, David. They beat White Knoll tonight 34-27. So the first win at Sumter for the new head coach there.
Hugh Marlowe, yeah, from South Florence, a Sumter graduate. And it was just a matter of time. Sumter's going to be a very good team. I think they just weren't ready for Somerville.
All right, let's see what else we've got here that's come in. In the PD Grand Strand, Aner 38, Marion 7, Carolina Forest 36, Conway 14, Cheraw 21, Louisville nothing. That game's been called due to weather. North Myrtle Beach 24, Darlington 17. Chiefs go to 2-0. And West Florence outscores Hartsville 49-38. Latta doubles up Chesterfield 42-21. Loris beat Greensea Floyd 63-7, led 63-0 at the half. Ooh. Dillon puts 50 on Myrtle Beach, 50-24. I think Myrtle Beach gave up 61 in their first game, David. What's up with that defense?
There is no defense.
There's no defending the defense for the Seahawks.
No. Hey, Phil, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm watching the Oceanside Cannon School of North Carolina, and Cannon just took the lead and went for two. They're up 22-21, and then Oceanside Monavian just threw a long bomb to Jaden Kelly Murray. He caught it. The ball is on the 25, and they're trying to kick the field goal to win it. He didn't make it. Missed the field goal at the buzzer. So Oceanside is now 0-2.
Ooh. And where's this team from that they were playing?
Concord, North Carolina. It's called the Cannon School.
Oh, yeah,
it's a private school. They're pretty good. Their quarterback, I watched a lot of this game. Their quarterback is he's a really good player.
What was that final again? Give me that final.
22-21.
22-21, Cannon over Oceanside Collegiate. Okay. Bishop England beat Lucy Beckham 31-7. Woodland, Woodland over Cross 14-8. Last night, the game was called because of a scuffle, a fight, maybe a near riots. Do we know if that is going to stand as a win for Woodland, or do we know how they're going to handle this?
Well, I was told that it was a win for Woodland because the game was called because of a fight, not because of weather. Usually, if a game starts, it's a game. Mm-hmm. And if the weather prevents it from being finished, then you can kind of rule it a no contest. But you can't do that, from what I understand, with a fight. So according to the person I talked to, Woodland's going to get the win 14-8.
Okay. James Island beat South Florence 34-14, so the Bruins fall to 0-2, and the James Island team goes to 2-0, and you just gave us the win by Cannon over Oceanside Collegiate. And around the PD Grand Strand, Aner 38, Marion 7, Carolina Forest 36, Conway 14. Cheraw shuts out Louisville 21-0. That game was called due to the weather. North Myrtle Beach beat Darlington 24-17. And did we do these scores already? Yeah, we just did these scores. Okay. All right. So I think we just did those, so we'll move on. And Andrew Jackson beat North Central 19-6. Fairfield Central was leading Chester 6-0. That game's been called. Resumption to be determined. Northwestern and Indian Land and Rock Hill and Ashley Ridge, they are going to be played on Saturday. And South Point was up on Nation Ford. I saw somebody flash a score. It was 43-0. South Point leading Nation Ford. So we should be going to a break here. So let me make an adjustment to make that happen. David, what else is going down in the Low Country that's caught your eye so far?
I think this win, Bishop England beating Lucy Beckham the way they beat him, 31-7. I mean, this was I thought this would be a low-scoring, tight ball game. And Bishop England's defense is for real. And they're in the same conference now with Oceanside, and it does not look like this is going to be a dominant Oceanside team. So the Bishops got to have a team.
All right, hold that thought. We'll be right back after this break on the Scoreboard.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances and you're feeling overwhelmed, high interest can add up quickly and it can become stressful to control. Now through September 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can help simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence and less worry. Plus, with fewer due dates and less interest to worry about, you can spend more time focusing on what matters most: your goals, your family, and your financial future. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR, currently 12.5% to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
I think music is a kind of magic. As a therapist, I have seen what music can do. It gives you insight into kind of what's going on in their head and their life and their world. Because of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to go to school and turn my passion for music into a career that helps others. And that is pretty magical too.
Better support means a better South Carolina, and a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Okay, we're back on the high school scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut here, along with David Shelton. Let's go to folks waiting on the phones. Appreciate your patience. Smitty has joined us, Matt Smith, who was going to have they're off this weekend. His television broadcast was off this weekend, but Smitty's still out watching high school football. Welcome, Smitty.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I took in James Island, South Florence last night, and about Myrtle Beach being indefensible, this goes back even further than the Dillon blowout loss and the blowout loss to Marlboro County. They couldn't stop Loris. in the CMB Kickoff Classic either. So a young defense for Mickey Wilson. Their defense is indefensible. We'll see if that switches. But, last night I took in James Island and Florence. Wanted to see if South Florence could maybe bounce back after a, lackluster opening week and loss under Scott Braswell, but they really couldn't. James Island is a machine, and who am I telling? David Shelton's on the line here. Brady Dantzler, the surgeon, they call him there. He hit Sam Crumpton for a couple of touchdowns, and they got the running game going as well early in that Orange Crush defense. So Jamar McCoy, this was the last game he'll have to sit out, serving that 2-game suspension. So he'll be back, and there were a lot of penalties in the second half, and maybe that is somewhat emblematic of the head coach not being on the sideline with the team. But Mikkel Worthen, 16 carries, 201 yards. So James Island got everything they wanted last night. So just wanted to make sure we got that update out there from last night. James Island is legit. I'm sure David Shelton will want to be on the sideline for that Somerville James Island game. I think that's coming up September 18th. That looks a bit like a collision course right now in the Low Country.
David?
Oh, yeah. There's people talking about it already, and it'll probably be for the region title, and it's so early. I mean, in the middle of September. And but there's probably a good chance they're going to play more than one time this year. But it's setting up to where that James Island offense will be really tested by that Somerville defense because those cats are good.
Smitty, thank you very much. Who you got next week on your TV broadcast?
We have got Wilson and Darlington next week on WPDE, Friday Night Rivals.
All right, my man. Face made for television. Thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. I'll be listening to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Smitty. Those of you on the lines, hang in there. We're going to get right to you when we come back from this bottom of the hour break. It's the High School Football Scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Almost time for Loredac's 7th annual Rock for Recovery concert, and we've gone country this year. Proudly bringing you country star Craig Morgan live at the Ice House Amphitheater October the 15th. The annual Rock for Recovery benefits Loredac and highlights recovery from substance abuse in our community. Tickets are $50. They will go fast. Visit Eventbrite and look for Hour for Hour 26 to get your seat. Craig Morgan's coming to Lexington October 15th. Get your tickets now.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. Rescuers on the Nepal-China border are pulling out flood survivors caked in dark brown mud. While helicopters lift stranded people to safety, the neighboring countries raced Friday to respond to catastrophic flash floods that have killed nearly 600 and left almost 2,500 missing. Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warr says inflation is still too high and suggested the central bank may have to raise interest rates in the coming months to bring it down, the clearest signal that he has sent before about his economic outlook in his first high-profile speech at the Fed's annual conference at Jackson Hole. President Trump says his administration has entered a sweeping agreement with Venezuela that, if realized, could give the U.S. access to vast amounts of the South American country's untapped oil reserves at cost. The president said in a social media post earlier today that the agreement was negotiated by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, and Venezuela's Delcy Rodriguez. This is SRN News.
Columbia's home for the NFL is The Point. The Carolina Panthers are roaring back, and you'll hear all their action right here on 100.7. Catch the games, Panther Talk on Monday nights, and the Panthers Update Monday through Friday mornings. All here on Columbia's local talk radio experience, your NFL home of the Carolina Panthers. 100.7 The Point.
This Panther Update is brought to you by UNC Charlotte.
Panthers training camp is over, and tonight the final preseason game as the Panthers host the Houston Texans. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
Hey, Panthers fans. Not every injury happens on the field. Car wrecks, work injuries, slip and falls. When you're hurt, you need more than a quick sub off the bench. You need America's largest injury law firm. There's a reason Morgan & Morgan has over 1,100 lawyers in 100 offices nationwide. A reason we've recovered more than $35 billion for people just like you. And a reason we never charge a dime unless we win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of the Carolina Panthers. Injured? Dial pound law. Jonathan M. Smith, forthepeople.com. North Carolina lawyer will handle North Carolina cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The Panthers wrap up their elongated preseason with their fourth game and finally a home game as they host the Texans tonight. On Wednesday, they had their final training camp practice versus Houston, and linebacker Claude Sherrill says it was a good camp over the past few weeks.
Overall, it's been pretty good. I like the competitiveness we got. We're playing with like a spark. Everyone's getting feisty. That just means we're a collective group. We can fight one day, come back, and next play we're dapping each other up. So I love it.
Sherrillis and third-year player Trevin Wallace have been competing for the inside linebacker spot opposite free agent signee Devin Lloyd, but Sherrillis does not view it as if he's battling his teammate for a spot.
We look at everything the same way in that room. We're always competing. It's not just me and Trevin. We're competing with Devin, obviously. He's the all-pro in the room. He's the new guy. We're all competing on a daily basis, so I'm not looking at it as, I'm just competing with Trevor. I'm competing for my best. We're all competing for our best. We're trying to be, the best version of that linebacker room that we can.
After tonight's game, final roster cuts to 53 players are due across the NFL by Sunday. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This Panther Update has been brought to you by UNC Charlotte. Built for a top-tier city. The difference is Charlotte. UNC Charlotte.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can stand, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, back on the high school scoreboard on this stormy Friday night around South Carolina. Stratford beat Cane Bay 24-18. That's just coming in as the final. I'm sorry. Opposite. Okay, my bad. 24 for Cane Bay and 18 for Stratford. I heard you wrong. So Cane Bay 24, Stratford 18, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, David. Let's give you a few other finals. That's why they don't call you the best in the business for nothing. West Oak 17, Berea nothing. These are finals. Blue Ridge 28, Travelers Rest 6. And giving you ones we haven't given you. Daniel 45, BHP 7, BHP 0-2. Seneca beat Liberty 21-14. Greenville edged Malden 21-19. Pickens over Blacksburg 48-6. Greer 52, Union County nothing. Wade Hampton 48, Southside nothing. Ware Shoals 24, Carolina nothing. Chapman 61, Walhalla 6. Spartanburg Day beat Thornwell 17-14. And Gaffney over Man 43-10. These are all finals. Spartanburg and Greenwood, we're still seeing a delay there. I don't know if they ever got started from what I'm seeing here. And let's see, West Oak beat Berea 17-0. Those are all finals. I'll give you some in progress here. Burns and Dorman 21-21, third quarter. I mean, everything is running behind. And Emerald leading Newberry. They're in a delay, is 7-0. Somerville leading Hillcrest 45-28 in the fourth quarter. Well, I'm sure Somerville's very happy about the Cross State drive and still playing at 10:37 at night. They'll get back sometime on almost Sunday. Woodruff 25-15 over Fountain Inn in the fourth quarter. Wren leading east side of the half, 42-6. Let's see. Southside Christian 14-0 over Woodmont. That was a first quarter score. And 96 in Landrum, 96 leading in the first, 14-6. Game suspended until Saturday. Man, they must have had some rotten weather up there. Pendleton 38-14 over Easley in the fourth quarter. Greenwood Christian and Dixie 21-21 in the fourth. Crescent 23, Palmetto 8 in the second. Chesney 40, Broome 20 in the fourth. Boiling Springs 34 and Riverside 7. That, too, is in the fourth quarter. Let me check the WRHI scoreboard as well and see what they've got. South Point 56-0 over Nation Ford. That's a final. Lancaster 14-7 over York in the second. Clover over Westwood 20-0 in the fourth. It's Fort Mill over Catawba Ridge in the fourth, 38-17. Ashley Ridge, Rock Hill, Indian Land Northwestern playing Saturday. And let's see if they have anything else here that we don't have. Great Falls Ben Lippen postponed until Monday. Charlotte Christian 7-0 over Buford in the first. Lakeview 33-0 over McBee in the third. They've got, well, we've got an update here. Burns and Dorman 21-21. Let's see here. Lexington 9-7 over North Augusta in the second. Gray Collegiate beat River Bluff 27-0. Irmo 37-0 over Spring Valley, called after the second quarter. Berkeley leading Fort Dorchester 30-7 in the third. Let's see here. What else? Did that. Lugoff Elgin over Camden in the fourth, 22-19. Hilton Head 21-10 over Bamberg Earhart in the third. Marlboro County leading Atlantic Collegiate 14-6. That was the first quarter score. And that is it for there. So let's get back to our guys out in the fields, David. Let's welcome Taylor Novinger, play-by-play voice for Crestwood High School. Just talking about Crestwood not too long ago. Taylor, good to have you with us. How are you?
Good to have you, Phil. I heard you made your way down to the touchdown Sumter Club. That's awesome to hear.
Yep.
Been a busy week for me. Had a Monday game at Manning. Crestwood won 34-27 over Manning. And then tonight they win 27-0 Goose Creek. Calvin Wolford had 289 rushing yards on Monday with 4 touchdowns. And tonight he had 214 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. Phil, that puts him at 48 carries and 503 yards already.
Wow.
With 5 touchdowns on the season.
Wow.
Incredible stuff there from Calvin Wolford. I think Clemson and Carolina might want to come knocking soon. Start of the game, Calvin Wolford had an 85-yard touchdown run. Crestwood was up 7-0 in the game. Darrell Epps is another guy that's a really solid running back, young 10th grader, that's filled in nicely since Braden Bolts has left. Epps had an 87-yard touchdown run of himself. Epps had 17 carries with 158 yards on the ground. Marie Yates had a nice touchdown run, and Jaden Goodman had a pick six, a mixed extra point in there, and the ball game was 27-0. The Crestwood offense had 0 passing yards on the night, Phil. 0. 341 yards on the ground. And I want to give a shout-out to Goose Creek statistician Gary Olish, providing all these great stats for me. Did a great job tonight up in the booth.
Absolutely. So we were talking about Braden Bolts earlier, and now you got this Wofford kid who I saw today at the Touchdown Club. He's impressive looking. How did they handle the two of them last season?
A lot of it was kind of weird. The coaching staff kind of felt like they had to put in Bolts at certain times. It felt very sluggish, very unorganized. A lot of times you'd have, Wofford carrying a couple here, and then he'd do a really good long run, and then they'd pull him out for Bolts. It was very choppy. I felt like the carries were not 50-50. It was more, 60-40 Bolts, but it felt like the coaching staff had the pressure to put Bolts in because of his dad being the running back coach as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I love your honesty. That's awesome. And why did he bolt to Texas?
Well, he wanted to play with his cousin, and he also was promised some little gifts on the way. We'll put it that way nicely. And I'm going to be honest with you, Phil. I'm real impressed with Darrell Epps, the backup running back to Calvin Walford. I think Crestwood has a really good ground game, and they're going to have a really tough opponent next week with Marlboro County coming to their place.
All right.
So that'll be an interesting ball game.
All right, Roosevelt Nelson getting it done. Thank you, Taylor. Talk to you next week.
Take care, Phil.
All right, thank you. David, how about the job Roosevelt Nelson's doing there at Crestwood?
You know, he's. I bet if you ask 100 random people from outside that Sumter area who the coach at Crestwood was, you'd probably find two that would know it was Roosevelt Nelson. Just, you know, you never hear anything about them. But they, they're very competitive. They win. He has good players. He's just, if there's ever a guy that fits at a school, I think that he does. I just think he's a fit there.
He was one tough customer when he was a linebacker at Clemson. I'll tell you that. All right, let's go. Speaking of the Sumter Crestwood area, let's welcome in now play-by-play voice for the Sumter High Gamecocks, Isaac Allen, joining us here on the Scoreboard show. And those Gamecocks bounced back with a very nice win tonight. Isaac, welcome in. Great to have you with us.
Hey, Phil. Great to be here. Thank you for having us. Yeah, Sumter had a great game, won 35-27 over a good White team. Great comeback after that tough loss to Summerville last week.
How'd they do it? Did this game come down to the very end, kind of a last minute or two play, or did they have to hold on and protect the lead?
It was a tough game until about halfway through the fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. You know, we had some injuries. Richardson, our starting quarterback, the one that's been so heavily recruited, was out tonight. You know, they thought he could play, but the doctors wanted to wait to evaluate him on Monday. So the backup sophomore, he's like 5'7", 5'8", maybe 160 with his pads on, was the starting backup. I know he had some nerves going on. Our starting running back was back. He was hurt last week because he got hurt during the scrimmage. But our backup got hurt. Pinckney got hurt against Summerville. So they had to pull up a freshman from the JV team to play, and ended up he had 2 touchdowns, and our starting running back had 1, and the sophomore quarterback ended up actually having a touchdown pass of his own. We probably count on one hand how many times we threw the ball, but he had a nice little touchdown pass. I'll give you their names right now as best I can, but the offense, I felt like they kept it simple because of the sophomore quarterback. We weren't allowed in the Summerville game, so I couldn't tell you what our offense was like, to be honest. But they kept it simple, just running the ball between the tackles most of the time. They had a little dump pass to the fullback, Lucas Brownlow, at one point, and that got for some good yardage. But other than that, it was a simple game plan. Defensively, most of the time they held their run game. Seems like Whiteno's kind of like us. They don't throw the ball a lot. They did have some big passes, though. A couple passes went for some big yardage. 2 touchdown passes for Whiteno, but they played them really well. But it did come about the start of the fourth quarter. It's when Sumter really started to pull away, and the clock really started playing against Whiteno.
What's up next week?
Next week we have West Florence at home, and then we will be at Crestwood, and then Dutch Fork after that. So it just gets harder and harder.
Well, thank you for calling. Great stuff. Have a great weekend. We'll look for you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you so much. All right. So, David, Sumter gets that win tonight after losing at Summerville. No shame losing at Summerville, of course. And they're going to be fine. When they get these injured players back, look out.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be able to run the football on just about everybody they play when all their guys are there, especially the quarterback, Richardson. This was a good win. I mean, this could have easily been, with the injuries, 0-2. Looking at the next 3 games, it could have been a rough start, but I think Sumter's going to be fine.
Give you some other final scores now from around the Midlands. Give you these finals. Hammond 49-0 over Augusta Christian. Pelion 17, Barnwell 7. Wagner Sally 54, Branchville 20. Chapin 45, Brooklyn Casey 22. Gray Collegiate 27, River Bluff 0. Northwood Academy 21, Heathwood Hall 14. Irmo 37, Spring Valley 0. Lower Richland 21, Lakewood 6. Lamar 33, Columbia 8. North Augusta 27, Lexington 16. Lee Central 8, Mullins 0. It's more of a PD score. South Aiken 31, Airport 14. Just gave you Sumter and White Knoll. And that's what we've got right now from around the Midlands area. Folks holding, we'll get to you. Don't go away. We got a break coming up in about a minute, so I don't want to start. Billy Baker tells me no hot call tonight. He's got a bunch of printing to do, and he's having an issue or trying to get an issue out. So he's busy doing that. But he tells us there was a school tonight in our state which won its first varsity football game in 63 years.
In our state?
Yeah. Won their first varsity football game in 63 years.
Who is that?
Spartanburg Day. At home, he says.
They had a team.
Yeah. Yeah. They won. They beat Thornwell 17-14. They just started their varsity football back this season after, I guess, a 63-year hiatus. So, of course, that's the home of Zion Williamson from back in the day.
Yeah, wouldn't he have been a nice tight end?
Yeah, but he wouldn't be making gazillions, probably, like he is now. So, thank you for that, Billy. Good stuff. And Patrick Moffitt is the head coach there at Spartanburg Day. Didn't realize Spartanburg Day had gotten back in the football business. All right, we're going to hit the break here, and we will continue. And we should be hitting the break. Hang on a second. Well, for some reason, the break hasn't started or isn't running. So let me go ahead and go to another caller then. Let's do that, and I'll figure out what's going on with the break. Let's go to Thomas Grant. Thomas Grant was watching that Dutch Fork Ridgeview contest. It wasn't much of a contest because Dutch Fork was beating them up pretty good late in the second quarter when they stopped it. Thomas, how good did Dutch Fork look to you?
Well, I mean, the game, first off, it was the inaugural Bojangles Ridgeview Kickoff Classic, the first of its kind, and it was a sold-out crowd on both sides. Both stands were literally filled. So, actually, the first quarter was actually pretty close and pretty interesting. Dutch Fork scored on the opening drive. It only took them 5 plays. Jackson not scored on the first of 2 touchdown runs. But on the second play from their first play from scrimmage, Ridgeview's Derek Howard, who was making his return after he missed all of last season with a broken foot, he gives a short pass to Christian Jackson, and the 2-time state track champion breaks 1 tackle, and he was just off to the races, 76 yards for a touchdown to make it, but then he missed the PAT to make it 7-6. On their next possession, on Dutch Fork, what looked like they were driving again, got to the 20-yard line, but then a misplay in the backfield, I guess Jackson was trying to do a pitch, but he ends up getting taken away by Raymond Jones, and he ends up going 80 yards the other way for a touchdown to get the PAT, and then Ridgeview's leading 13-7 midway in the first quarter. But from that point on, it was all Dutch Fork. That's when they scored 28 unanswered points. The next four drives, each drive they had was ended with a touchdown run by Jackson Knotts. He then had a touchdown pass to Anderson Bean. And then they also had a 1-yard run by Kyle Henry. Now, Ridgeview was going on another possession where Christian Jackson had another long run to take it to the 30, which with 2:08 left, that's when play was stopped. And after an hour waiting out the lightning delays, that's when they decided to, and then the rain started, that's when they decided to postpone the game. But according to the high school league, they had three options. They could either, one, resume the game either sometime tomorrow or Monday. B, they could resume play, or they could stop play. I should say they could stop play where the game was stopped, which will give the win to Dutch Fork. And then the third option would be, if either side can't agree, then the game would be ruled a forfeit. It wouldn't be ruled a no contest.
Huh.
I mean, it was so confusing. So I don't think it'll be like a situation where you had with the Burns situation last week, where at first it was a no contest, then it got ruled a win. So depending upon if they make a decision tonight, they'll either resume the game or maybe ended up getting stopped where it is. I mean, the thing is, it just depends on the schedule. I know Dutch Fork only has 9 games this year on the regular season schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves, and it depends on if they have any space, any bye weekend, where they jives whatever Ridgeview has.
Yeah. My suggestion is move on. I mean, especially if you're Ridgeview, you're not coming back to win. I mean, unless you just want to get out there and work on your game a little bit. But, I mean, when you're getting beat that bad, it's best, I think, just to move on. Thomas, thank you very much. Appreciate the update.
Problem.
Drive safely. Talk to you next week.
Okay.
David, you agree with that? You think they ought to just move on?
Yeah, being it this time of year, first game, I know they missed last week's game. They had the schedule thing with South Point, and they may make up that game, but it's early in the year. The game's not really going to matter, but like you said, unless you just want to get out there and work out some more kinks, you take the risk to be really, really bad.
Yeah. I say pack it in and work on your opponent for next week. All right, thank you, Thomas, and we'll be back in just a moment.
The weekends are waiting. Don't let interest hold them back. Plan your fall trip with Founders Federal Credit Union, featuring special rates on recreational vehicle loans. Now through September 30th, refinance an RV, motorcycle, or boat with Founders, and we'll beat your rate by 2%. Plus, a purchase or refinance comes with no payments for up to 90 days. Whether you're envisioning a cross-country road trip, a weekend escape to the mountains, or spontaneous journeys wherever the road takes you, Founders makes it easy to finance your dream recreational vehicle. Enjoy the freedom to explore, knowing you've locked in a great rate. Our team is here to help you every step of the way, from application to adventure. Visit foundersfcu.com/RV loans to learn more. Promotional rate ends September 30th, 2026. For additional cost info, call toll-free at 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
Welcome back to the High School Football Scoreboard. Sports Talk Media Network. Pendleton has beaten easily 45-42. In the Low Country, it is Lake City beating Timberland 18-6. That's a final. All right, let's go back to our phones. And for the first time, well, he's been on Sports Talk before. He is not a stranger to Sports Talk because he was once the head football coach at Presbyterian after a fine playing career. Coach Harold Nichols now doing some kind of broadcasting there, I guess, with Clinton and Lawrence tonight, and you drew the short straw to call us and tell us how it happened. Welcome in, Coach Harold Nichols. How you doing?
Well, Phil, it's good to be on with you guys tonight. I tell you, I can remember all those years recruiting. I'd turn into Sports Talk Radio and listen to all the scores around the state driving home. So this is a new one for me, but I'm glad to be on here with you guys tonight.
Absolutely. So tell us how the Red Devils pulled this thing out with, I guess, the last play of the game.
It was absolutely the last play of the game, and it was really a back-and-forth game all night. Lawrence is coming off of a big win against J.O. Mann in the first week, and this was Clinton's first game of the year. Clinton's a young football team. It was a back-and-forth game. Came down to the score was tied 22-22. Clinton got the ball back with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds about their own 25-yard line. One timeout, went down to field, did a really nice job converting some first downs. Owen Glenn, senior quarterback for Clinton, did a nice job with a scramble down to the sideline, got it to the 5-yard line, and with 7 seconds to go, Owen Glenn finds Caleb Gary in the middle of the end zone for the winning score, and Clinton wins 29-22 for the county championship for the 6th year in a row.
That's awesome, and you did a great job, sir. You got a career in this. Top of the hour, we'll be back. Thank you, Coach.
You betcha.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Ron Taylor. A federal judge has temporarily paused President Trump's effort to standardize how states handle mail-in ballots, setting up another legal fight before the midterms.
The 14-day hold follows new administrative rules requiring states to provide voter lists and use standardized ballot envelopes before the Postal Service delivers mail ballots. Trump supporters say the changes promote election security, consistency, and public confidence. Opponents argue states lack time to comply. The U.S. Supreme Court may ultimately decide this case. Ken Lorman reporting.
Tennessee's governor wants the Nashville airport renamed after Dolly Parton.
The country music star died Tuesday of cancer at age 80. The proposal to rename the airport could require the Metro Nashville Airport Authority to revisit its naming policy. The current policy says airport property should only be named for people who have been deceased at least 2 years. The governor's office says his proposal and the naming policy will be discussed by the airport authority at its September 17th meeting. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Rescuers on the Nepal-China border are pulling out flood survivors caked in dark brown mud while helicopters lift stranded people to safety. The neighboring countries raced Friday to respond to catastrophic flash floods that have killed nearly 600 people, leaving almost 2,500 missing. Rescue teams were put on high alert for more flooding from a new lake that formed high up on the Himalayan mountains after the initial floods on Wednesday. Experts warn that the lake, which was created after a glacier collapse that triggered the floods, was starting to overflow. The federal government has agreed to extend the pause on border construction in Big Bend National Park until mid-September. This decision came during a court hearing earlier today. News and analysis at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy.
and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-926-5959. That's 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959.
Icelanders are voting tomorrow on whether to restart talks about joining the European Union.
The decision has divided the nation's 400,000 over issues of sovereignty. Supporters of EU membership believe it offers protection and economic benefits. Opponents argue Iceland already enjoys European integration without losing control over its resources. The referendum is a simple yes or no question about resuming accession negotiations. A yes vote would lead to a lengthy negotiation process. Fishing rights remain a major concern as Iceland wants to maintain control over its rich fishing grounds. The result is expected to be very close. Bernie Bennett reporting.
A judge has granted a hearing to explore claims that a man wants to recount allegations of sexual abuse years ago by Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky. Sandusky is now 82 years old, has been serving a decades-long prison sentence since he was convicted of 45 counts of abuse involving multiple boys in 2012. More news at townhall.com.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Answering the call. Running in when everything you feel says run out. Pushing yourself beyond your known limits to help. Living to tell the story. Visit scvolunteerfire.org.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
And we're back. Hour number 2, High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union across the state here on the Sports Talk Media Network. David Shelton has dropped off for a few minutes to take care of some interviews. So I can do this because he threatened to hang up if I mentioned the soccer score. Earlier tonight, South Carolina beat Clemson in soccer, men's soccer, 3-2. So the Gamecocks sweep the soccer competition, men's and women's, against the Tigers. They go up 2-0 in the Palmetto Series. This South Carolina men's soccer team, which has been really down for the last few years, showing some life this season. So congratulations to South Carolina on getting that win. We'll catch you up on some other scores in just a couple of minutes. Let's get back to our phones. And Jamie Bradford is joining us from the Low Country, from the Chief Sports Network, the Chief Sports app, and all those shows that they are involved with on various Gamecock outlets and Gamecock apps. But tonight, he's a high school reporter, having watched some high school football in the Low Country. Jamie, welcome in. Stand by. There we go. I had to push one more button. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. Your ratings are about to go down, so you better make this segment short.
No, they will go nowhere but to the top, based on what you and your guys have been able to do. If you do for us what you do for the Chief Sports app, we'll be just fine. We'll be just fine.
I'm just trying to be you, man. You sound good. I'm sad that I didn't get to chat with David for a second. Love David Shelton, and appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you, man. What game were you at tonight down there?
Yeah, I was over at Bishop England. I went and saw them last week, and then went back over there tonight. I've got a family tie, so I'll try to be at a lot of those games. And they put it on Lucy Beckham. I mean, it was quite frankly, it was over quick, 31-7 at halftime. That ended up being the final. They got a little sloppy with the football. They were sloppy really with football. Both teams were throughout the ball game.
Hi, if you record your reason for calling.
Sorry about that.
Nope, you're good.
I'm sorry.
You're good. Both teams turned it over a bunch. I know BE fumbled it 5 times and turned it over, and I think Beckham turned it over 4. But in the first half, Bishop England connected on 3 passes over 65 yards, and all of them went for touchdowns. And so they got up pretty early, and they never relinquished the lead. They looked pretty good.
What do they have that kind of impresses you personnel-wise?
Well, I'll tell you what, defensively they're good, Phil. That's a good defense. And, I think Porter Goud had 27 total yards against them last week. And tonight, Beckham, they might have got over the century mark somewhere in the second half, but that's probably more because of one big play that kind of fell into the arms of a receiver down the field. I mean, they're really good up front. The Toning kids who have the offers from App State and a bunch of other teams out there, they play both sides of the ball, and these kids are really good. They got a bunch of seniors running around at all 3 levels of the defense, and offensively, last week they didn't really play that well. They just weren't that good. They just weren't crisp, shooting themselves in the foot. And they did that again tonight with the turnovers. But when they weren't turning the football over, they were moving it. I mean, Logan Hall, obviously, Logan coached for Coach Spurrier and Coach Muschamp, and being up there at Limestone. I mean, he's been around. He knows what he's doing, and he got it clicking during the week. And those guys look really, really good.
Where are you going next week?
Well, next week I'm going to be in Columbia, Phil. We got to go up there and watch the Gamecocks play. But my kids are coming, so we're going to bring them up on Friday night. So I'll miss that. But, the Bishops, they got to go over to Philip Simmons next week. So they got another challenge coming up, and but they're a contender. I mean, look, they're a contender. They just are. They got a good football team, and we'll see how it all plays out. But, their schedule gets softer as the year goes along. They're getting through the meat of their schedule at the beginning. So if they get through this thing with 3 or 4 wins, they could be looking at a pretty nice year.
Okay, Jamie, keep in touch with us, man. Love having you on the show. Great work by you and your folks with your internet programs covering the Gamecocks. And we'll talk to you next week, I hope. If not next week, the week after.
You got it, man. You're the best at what you do. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, Jamie. Good talking to you. Appreciate that. Jamie Bradford from down in the Low Country. David Shelton is back with us. He was talking about Bishop England getting a win tonight, David. So a good win for the Bishops tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was. I was just talking to the coach.
Oh.
And that was a very solid win against a good Beckham team. And, they're 2-0, and they'll play Philip Simmons next week. But David has done a really, really good job. He's got them believing their defense is legitimately good for that level of football, and they're going to give Oceanside a fit with that defense. They're pretty solid.
We've just gotten the final in from the Upstate. Dorman has beaten Burns 28-21, and I think we have Coach Scott Early on the line with us, who was at the game tonight, and hopefully he hasn't fallen asleep waiting on us. Coach Early, are you there, sir?
I am, and it's 28-21 with 10:53 to go in the fourth.
Oh, it's not a final.
No, I just text you the scores so you maybe would get excited about talking to me.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be helpful because I assumed it was a final score. Usually, people like if it's not a final.
Well, no. You don't, we didn't kick to 8:45. It was a terrible rain delay. The beautiful Masters fields tore all to pieces. There's a lot of moving parts to this game.
All right, so it's not over, but Dorman is winning 28-21. What have you seen in this game?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I've seen. I sat on Cavalier Way for 35 minutes just to get to my, and I had a really nice parking place, and Thomas Ryan comes down and gets me taking prep. I mean, it is, how they do it there, and I'm telling you, it was an old school atmosphere. They, even with the game being on my 40, it was sort of like one of them throwback old, Region 1 deals, and it was so fun for me to see that. Like, I know football's getting beat up everywhere now, but like, it wasn't getting beat up tonight in Dorman. It was a packed house. It survived the rain, and the game was just crazy. Like, first play from scrimmage, Reggie throws a little jet sweep out there and pick six, and I get to talking and listening, and there's 17 Division I kids on this field tonight. Like, these, I don't know if either one of these teams can beat Dutch Fork, but they're both going to make a long run in the playoffs, and it's good to see Dorman back, but it's also good to see Burns back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What'd you think of the Burns running back, Segura?
I actually don't hate Lane Kiffin. I love him, and I think I can't wait to see him in a night game in Death Valley. He's a player. He's such a player. He's kept them in this game, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've made, and then, but it's kind of like Dorman's play sloppy. I mean, outside the pick six and the running the kickback, they've not really done a lot on offense. Burns has played sloppy, turned the ball over 2 times in the first 2 minutes of the game. But here we are, 9:25 to go, 28-21, and Burns is driving. So, I mean, it's kind of like, what I'm saying is the night was old school night. From the time you come in and, how many people it takes just to pull off an event like that at a high school, and just knowing what I know, man, it was so good to see that it gave me hope that, this whole thing might not go sideways because of towns and places and traditions like Dorman.
Absolutely.
So it was good to see.
Let me ask you this. I mean, the weather's been such a factor these first 2 weeks, and a lot of games are being called, postponed, played later, but we're having a lot of controversies about who gets a win, who gets a forfeit. This team doesn't want to continue playing. Does that count as a forfeit? Is there any way to clarify this situation so that there's an absolute understanding of what's going to happen when a game is called because of the weather?
Boy, that's one of them questions you really probably don't want me to answer.
I do.
Well, I mean, we need we need the high school league to. I mean, there's a lot went on here last week and this week already. So, like, there probably need to be some guidelines laid down, and and it's a whole different generation, Phil. That's, again, let me be redundant. Let me go back to how good that made me feel tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different generation, a different time in football, and everybody thinks the whole trickle down thing from NIL and transfers and all the things that goes on in football. I mean, we've been dealing with this for a long time. I mean, that's one of the reasons I got out when I did. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love being executive director, but it was it's just things are different now, and you got to be able to adapt to that and be able to look down the road forward thinking and try to prevent a problem instead of try to solve it. Because if you're trying to solve it, it's too late.
Yeah. I mean, have we heard anything from the high school league issuing any kind of directives since all this has been happening, or no?
I mean, I don't know. You read between the lines pretty good. I answered the question, so I get off the hook. Next topic.
Yeah, you do. David Shelton.
Yep.
David Shelton, your thoughts.
It's good to see you back, David Shelton. Like, I'm so glad to see you back doing what you love to do, my man.
Well, it is certainly a happy time for me to be able to still not doing what I want to be doing, but at least I'm here with you guys. But I got to just echo when you asked Scott that question, in my mind, I was answering the question, and I literally almost answered it the way Scott would have. I was like, somebody
Oh, my God. Phil, put a note, call. Me and David Shelton just agreed on something. In week 2 of high school football.
Yeah.
We just agreed on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I was sitting here as you were about to talk. I was like, well, he's probably got to be careful how he phrases it, but I don't. And somebody needs to step up and put out a directive. That's like the fight at Cross last night. One coach thinks that.
So y'all know about all this? Oh, Lord.
David does.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I was all over it. One coach thought that it's a win. The other coach thought it's a no contest. And I'm like, well, how do two guys have two totally different ideas of how this is going to play out? So I did some investigating, and I was told it's not a no contest. It's a win for Woodland, even though it was the second quarter, they were ahead. And I was like, well, I mean, like you said, you need some kind of hard and fast. People need to know this, because when they cancel a game, just like Dutch Fork and Ridgeview tonight, they're in the second quarter. Now it's a 23-point difference, but should that be a win? Should that be a loss for Ridgeview? Should it be a no contest? It needs to be verified and known, because then people might, hang out till midnight and finish the game.
Well, I mean, I'm by no means Dr. Fauci, but I will plead the fifth.
Did we?
Well, I'm sure. I'm glad of
Did
that.
we lose Coach?
No, I didn't. No, I said I'm not going to be like Dr. Fauci, but I'll plead the fifth.
I hear him.
Coach, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. You don't hear me?
Yeah, I hear him.
David Shelton hears me, but Phil can't.
David, you still there?
My show, man. I'm still here, Phil.
Hey, David. Usually, when there's a problem, it's Phil's fault. So let's just see how this works out.
I was just fixing to say this is so good about this. Good, man. That's the same music.
All right, stand by. Had a little malfunction.
Oh my God!
We'll go to this break.
Is it because the batteries? Ran out?
Hold on,
There's
just
no
hold on. Operator error. We'll be right back.
Gas prices might be high, but your auto loan rate doesn't have to be. Beat your current auto loan rate by 2% when you refinance with Founders Federal Credit Union. Plus, make no payments for up to 90 days. That's right, save money with a great rate and make no payments for up to 90 days. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to help make the refinance process quick and easy. Don't forget to ask for a free auto insurance quote to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that's competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Stop by an office or apply on the Founders app today. To learn more, visit foundersfcu.com/auto. Not a Founders member yet? Visit the Founders website to see if you qualify for membership. For additional cost information, call us toll-free 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hi, this is Billy Downer from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Are you looking for a safe place to shoot your rifle or handgun? Did you know that the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources operates 4 manned ranges across the state in Pickens County, Spartanburg County, Richland County, and Charleston County? For more information on our public ranges, visit dnr.sc.gov/shooting.
Okay, we're back. High School Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I apologize. A little bit of an operator error there. It's such a stupid error, I don't even want to mention it over the air what I did.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. Yeah.
So you guys,
think about this. How does it feel to be your sideline reporter?
How does it feel
to be your sideline reporter in Tuscaloosa Energy Bowl when you do this like once a quarter? Like,
you mean like having you?
I call it a field moment. Like you have a field moment.
When you're on the air with us, I think it's awesome.
No, I know, but like I mean, is this like do we need some AA batteries? Was this like
No. All right, if you must know, I accidentally pulled the cord to my headset out of the jack, and I couldn't hear anything. I lost.
Okay.
I thought we'd gone off the air, and I was totally lost. I didn't realize it's behind me, so I didn't know that the plug had come out.
No. When me and David Shelton agreed on something, you just really lost your mind for a second right there.
That's true.
It took you a while to get back to where you was at, but
so you guys are probably saying good things. So pick it back up where you left off here for a couple more minutes.
I mean, I'll let David. You know, I was taught to respect my elders. I'll let David take the lead on this.
Well, David, what were you saying?
Well, I was just saying that I think there just needs to be a directive. These people need to know the answers to these questions before they happen. And I'm not talking about people like me. I'm talking about coaches. Because when guys like me call coaches and the two coaches have totally different answers as to the result of the game that didn't even get 2 quarters in, then there's a problem. I mean, I don't know if there's somewhere where you can look it up or not. I don't have the time to do all that. I just ask coaches.
Coach, you're a coach, and you're in a position of authority in some way to make recommendations, are you not?
I mean, it's like I said before you had your little malfunction. Can I just plead the fifth?
That's not like you to do that.
Well, I mean, I'm not an AD and a head football coach anymore. I'm doing the greatest job in the world with the greatest coaches in the world, and it's awesome. And we're just trying to help them. You know, we just doubled the Hurlong scholarship from 500 to 1,000. Tomorrow's 25 is the 3rd class is in session, and now we're in 6 different states. And I mean, I'm competitive, so I love our coach association, and I love our coaches, and I love what we do.
We'll leave it at that and see if we can figure out a solution on another day.
Yeah. Well, I know you may be disappointed in me, but David's probably not. So
I'm not disappointed. I am not disappointed.
Me and David's done interviews so long. If you hang up with me, he can sort of finish and say, "Well, I think this is what he was going to say," and it'll be good. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all having me on, and it's 28-21 Dorman with 7:06 to go in the 4th, and it's one of those old football games that we used to watch in that region with Gaffney and Dorman and Burns, and like I said, I don't know if either of these teams can beat Dutch Fort, but both of them are really, really talented, well-coached team, and Dorman runs an unbelievable old-school class operation. So we need the Cavaliers to be good to fight off some of the things that's going on.
Thank you, my friend.
How many people there?
No.
10,000?
It was, I I don't master universal language. I wouldn't say a number. I would say it was 3/4 full on both sides and lots on the hill. And then I think, a lot of people, when the weather happened, they probably are at home watching on my 40 instead of being there. But it was an old school throwback night that I wish both of y'all guys could have seen, because y'all would have thought there's still some hope. So.
Oh, there's hope.
Oh, yeah.
There's always hope. All right, Coach, thank you. Talk to you
Yes,
again.
sir.
Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Thank you so much.
You
All right,
got
bye-bye.
it. Scott Early. Appreciate that. Good stuff
Do you
with him.
remember, Bill, do you remember the night that we were doing the show when he was the head coach at Lexington, and they went down to Somerville and beat Somerville, and we interviewed him, and he was sitting on the back on his tailgate on his truck? Do you remember that?
I don't, but I'm sure it happened, and it doesn't surprise me that that's what he was doing when we talked to him. He probably had a cold one in his hand, too.
I wasn't going to say that, but,
I probably just made him mad again. All right. Let me do a couple things here. I tell you what, we have callers standing by, so I'm going to go blindly up to the 864 and welcome into the scoreboard. Who's this, and what game were you at?
Hey, Phil, it's J.P. Barry. I was at Bowling Springs versus Riverside.
Awesome. Tell us about it.
I will. Bowling Springs won by a score of 34-13. Their quarterback, Emory Logan, looked really good. He had a couple touchdowns. Running back R.J. Bird had a real good night. And DJ Leak for the Bulldogs had a 90-something yard kick return touchdown. That was a lot of fun to see. Riverside hung in the game early. It was 20-7 at half. They had some opportunities to make it even closer, but that team and that offense just couldn't sustain enough to really keep that game closer. The only thing that kept Riverside in the game in the second half before B Springs pulled away was a lot of penalties by Bowling Springs. By my unofficial count, I think they were near 150 yards of penalties tonight.
Wow.
And it even wiped off a touchdown and an interception for Bowling Springs. So it could have been even worse.
JP, thank you so much for the report. Talk to you next week. Good hearing from you.
Yes, sir. I know you're coming up on a break. Thanks, Phil.
You know the show well. Yes, sir. Thank you, JP. And appreciate you, man. And David,
no problem.
Camden misses a field goal last play of the game, and Lugoff Elgin has beaten Camden tonight 28-25. We'll let you talk about that when we come back here on the High School Scoreboard.
Almost time for Loredac's 7th annual Rock for Recovery concert, and we've gone country this year. Proudly bringing you country star Craig Morgan live at the Ice House Amphitheater October the 15th. The annual Rock for Recovery benefits Loredac and highlights recovery from substance abuse in our community. Tickets are $50. They will go fast. Visit Eventbrite and look for Hour for Hour 26 to get your seat. Craig Morgan's coming to Lexington October 15th. Get your tickets now.
When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
Rubio. With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. Humanitarian organizations are mobilizing to aid survivors along the Nepal-China border. After catastrophic floods struck the region Wednesday, more than 300 people have died after a glacier collapse triggered a deadly torrent. Over 1,400 remain missing. The Nepalese army is using helicopters for rescues due to washed-out roads and bridges, and all kinds of relief agencies are underway and helping. President Trump says his administration has entered a sweeping agreement with Venezuela that, if realized, could give the U.S. access to vast amounts of the South American country's untapped oil reserves at cost. The president said in a social media post earlier Friday that the agreement was negotiated by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez. The president calls it the biggest oil deal in world history. I'm Ron Taylor, and this is SRN News.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
This Panther Update is brought to you by UNC Charlotte.
Panthers training camp is over, and tonight the final preseason game as the Panthers host the Houston Texans. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
Hey, Panthers fans. Not every injury happens on the field. Car wrecks, work injuries, slip and falls. When you're hurt, you need more than a quick sub off the bench. You need America's largest injury law firm. There's a reason Morgan & Morgan has over 1,100 lawyers in 100 offices nationwide. A reason we've recovered more than $35 billion for people just like you. And a reason we never charge a dime unless we win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of the Carolina Panthers. Injured? Dial pound law. Jonathan M. Smith, forthepeople.com. North Carolina lawyer will handle North Carolina cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The Panthers wrap up their elongated preseason with their fourth game and finally a home game as they host the Texans tonight. On Wednesday, they had their final training camp practice versus Houston, and linebacker Claude Cherilus says it was a good camp over the past few weeks.
Overall, it's been pretty good. I like the competitiveness we got. We're playing with like a spark. Everyone's getting feisty. That just means, we're a collective group. We can fight one day, come back, and next play we're dapping each other up. So I love it.
Cherilus and third-year player Trevin Wallace have been competing for the inside linebacker spot opposite free agent signee Devin Lloyd, but Cherilus does not view it as if he's battling his teammate for a spot.
We look at everything the same way in that room. We're always competing. It's not just me and Trevin. We're competing with Devin, obviously. He's the all-pro in the room. He's the new guy. We're all competing on a daily basis, so I'm not looking at it as, I'm just competing with Trevin. I'm competing for my best. We're all competing for our best. We're trying to be, the best version of that linebacker room that we can.
After tonight's game, final roster cuts to 53 players are due across the NFL by Sunday. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This Panther Update has been brought to you by UNC Charlotte. Built for a top-tier city. The difference is Charlotte. UNC Charlotte.
Someone will be right with you.
All right, we are back with you on the High School Football Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Another update from Coach Early, David. I'm not going to say if it's final or not. Dorman 35, Burns 21. Probably in the third quarter, fourth quarter would be my guess.
Yeah, it's got to be late in the game now.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay. I appreciate him being with us. That was great stuff. You only get it here on the High School Scoreboard on Friday nights. So, by the way, thanks to Matt Smith and thanks to Chris Bergen for helping me update our score sheets. So let me run through these finals if you're just joining us and you're wondering about things. We've plugged in as many finals as we can find right now. In the upstate, Strom-Thurmond 33, Abbeville nothing. West Oak 17, Berea nothing. C.A. Johnson 13, and Bethune-Bowman, I lost that score. It might be nothing, but I think C.A. Johnson won 13 to, I think maybe nothing. Boiling Springs 34, Riverside 13, Chesney 40, Broome 20, Clinton, a thriller, 29-22 over Lawrence, Crescent 37, Palmetto 20, Daniel 45, Belton Honeypath 7, Pendleton 45, Easley 42, Greenwood and Spartanburg. All right, this is well, we've got the Greenwood score 28, and I've got nothing in the box here for Spartanburg. So whoever's putting that score in, Smitty or Chris, go back and put the Spartanburg score in. Have you seen that anywhere, David?
Which one?
Greenwood, Spartanburg.
No, I don't think they played.
Yeah. I mean,
I never saw the score at all tonight.
Well, I saw an early score of 7-0 in the second quarter on Channel 7 scoreboard. That hasn't, I'm seeing here, that hasn't changed. Let me double check here and see if they've had an update. Now, they still have 7-0 in the second quarter. I don't know why we've got, unless this was just a mistake. I'm going to take that out then. Forget what I just said. Somerville 45, Hillcrest 28, Jefferson, Georgia 55, Westside 21, Gaffney 43, Man 10, Seneca 21, Liberty 14, Greenville 21, Malden 19, 96-14, Landrum 7, Pickens 48, Blacksburg 6, T.L. Hanna 30, Powdersville 7, Greer 52, Union County nothing, Wade Hampton 48, Southside nothing, Chapman 61, Walhalla 6, Ware Shoals 24, Carolina Academy nothing, Blue Ridge 28, Travelers Rest 6. Around the Midlands, and obviously we have some more scores to fill in there and here as well, and we'll try to get these in before the night's over. Gilbert 24, AC Flora 14, South Aiken 31, Airport 14, Mid Carolina 28, Batesburg Leesville 21, C.A. Johnson 52, Bethune Bowman nothing. Oh, there it is. So I have that on two different sheets. Blythewood 32, Richland Northeast 8, Chapin 45, Brooklyn Casey 22, Lamar 33, Columbia nothing, Crestwood 27, Goose Creek nothing, Lower Richland 21, Lakewood 6, Lugoff Elgin 28, Camden 25, Pillion 17, Barnwell 7, Dutch Fork 35, Ridgeview 13. That game suspended late in the second quarter. Gray Collegiate 27, River Bluff nothing. Irmo 37, Spring Valley nothing. That one was called due to another lightning delay, and I wouldn't play it or pick it up and just give Irmo the W. Sumter over White Knoll 35-27. In the Rock Hill I-77 corridor, Andrew Jackson 19, North Central 6, Fairfield Central 6, Chester nothing. That game was called because of the weather. Fort Mill 38, Catawba Ridge 17. Great Falls Ben Lippen postponed to Monday. Northwestern, Indian Land, Rock Hill, Ashley Ridge, they play on Saturday. South Point 56, Nation Ford nothing. CSRA, North Augusta 27, Lexington 16. Wagner Sally 54, Branchville 20. PD Grand Strand. Georgetown 41, Andrews 27. Aner 38, Marion 7. Carolina Forest 36, Conway 14. Cheraw 21, Louisville nothing. Game called due to weather. North Myrtle Beach 24, Darlington 17. West Florence 49, Hartsville 38. Johnsonville 42, Hannah Pamplico nothing. Lakeview 53, McBee 12. Latta 42, Chesterfield 21. Lee Central 8, Mullins nothing. Lower 63, Greensea Floyd 7. Marlboro County 28, Atlantic Collegiate 6. Dillon 50, Myrtle Beach 24. St. James 42, Socastee 34. Wilson beat Hampton County. Quick thoughts on this one, David. Wilson 21, Hampton County nothing.
That's surprising because Wilson gave up a bunch of points last week to Hartsville. And to shut out Hampton County is an impressive feat.
And I'm seeing the final now. Dorman does beat Burns 35-21. David, quick reaction.
not a huge surprise. I think Dorman was probably the more complete team, but I think both these teams are going to win double-digit games this year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. To the Low Country, Clear Dot Charter 30, Allendale Fairfax nothing. Where is Clear Dot Charter?
Somewhere in the Low Country.
And
I don't know.
What's a Clear Dot?
That's the opposite of a unclear dot.
What's their nickname?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously. I'm sorry. I mean, Clear Dot.
With all the stuff going on tonight, you want to know, that's the pressing, burning question on Bill Cornbluth's mind.
Bishop England 31, Lucy Beckham 7, Cane Bay 24, Stratford 18, Woodland 14, Cross 8, James Island 34, South Florence 14, Cannon of North Carolina 22, Oceanside Collegiate 21. Thank you, Max. Max Arnage just texted me and said Clear Dot is in Columbia. Porter Gal 35, Philip Simmons 7, Lake City 18, Timberland 6, and Wando beat May River 33-20. David, you get a final on Berkeley and Fort Dorchester by chance? Have you seen that?
45-14.
Berkeley?
Yeah.
Is Fort D showing any signs of coming back to life?
Not much. They're pretty young. They're not going to win a lot of games this year.
Yeah. I'm being told here that Clear Dot is a new charter school, and apparently Bears, that's their mascot. Clear Dot Charter Bears. So in Columbia somewhere. I have no idea. Never really heard of them. I'm sorry, not the Bears, the Bats. The Bats. A typo there. I got the Bats? They named themselves the Bats, the Clear Dot Charter Bats. Okay. David, what do you think about that? Bloodsuckers. The Bats.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Skeeza, Dorchester Academy 60, Lee Academy 14. Hammond 49, Augusta Christian nothing. Dillon Christian 45, Orangeburg Prep 14. Florence Christian 33, PD Academy 14. Spartanburg Day, their first win in 63 years, 17-14 over Thornwell. Williamsburg Academy and Trinity Collegiate played on Wednesday night, 32-14. Williamsburg Academy wins that one. They played on Wednesday night. Not on television, by the way. They just played on Wednesday night. All right, let's get back to, let's see, let me make sure we got time here. Yeah, I think we're good. So let's go to Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell joining us with the report tonight on the Woodruff game. Garrett, welcome in. How are you?
Well, Phil, I tell you what, I'll say what I always say. When you win a ball game, you feel a lot better, and that's exactly what Woodruff did tonight. The number 4 ranked Wolverines, they're number 4 ranked in 2A, took down the number 9 ranked Fountain Inn Curie. They're out of 4A by a score of 32-15.
32-15 over Fountain Inn. Okay, what was the secret tonight?
The secret tonight was all about the defense. It was a sluggish offensive night for Woodruff. And Fountain Inn comes in. They have a good offense, and they have a really, really good quarterback in Sam Holliday. He's a 4-year starter, and you have to let him be the focal point of your defense. Woodruff did just that. They were able to fluster him into some bad throws early. And for the game, the Woodruff defense forced 5 Fountain Inn turnovers, including 3 interceptions. And on Fountain Inn's very first offensive play of the game, Woodruff senior linebacker Keelan Hunter picked off a pass and took it 45 yards for the score. Woodruff never trailed. They led wire to wire.
Wow. That's a great win for them. Who did it offensively? How'd they get it done on offense?
So once the offense was able to get going, Fountain Inn's defensive front, their front 7 is really, really good. A lot of size, a lot of physicality, and that really did a number on the Woodruff offense early. But Woodruff was able to get things going in the passing game, and that softened up the back end of Fountain Inn a little bit. And it was the Curtis Bell show at wide receiver tonight. He just has a great rapport with quarterback Connor Davis. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'll be working on that in a little bit. But Curtis probably had around 130, 140 yards receiving and a touchdown. Another big 40-yard touchdown pass to three-star tight end Mekhi McClintock. That came right before the end of the half. And another big play, Phil, Woodruff kicker Diego Tranquilino set the new school record for the Wolverines with a 48-yard field goal late in the second quarter.
All right, that's a great win. What's up next for Woodruff?
Next up is Emerald. It's the second of 3 consecutive home games for Woodruff. And the Vikings come in. They're a really good team. Another big test.
Hey, have you heard anything more on Spartanburg Greenwood? Did they ever get going again?
Have not.
Beg your pardon?
Have not heard anything about that.
Have not. Okay. All right. Hey, thank you, Garrett. Great hearing from you. Appreciate the report. Talk to you next week. And we'll be right back.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot, and the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
The Gator boys around this radio station, they love this fight song. I call it Lose Gators. All right, welcome back. High School Scoreboard, Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornbluth, David Shelton. I got a bunch more finals here from the upstate. Let me catch you up. Wren beat Eastside 48-12. Blue Ridge beat Travelers Rest 28-6. You just heard Woodruff beat Fountain Inn 32-15 in overtime. Southside Christian beat Woodmont 34-28. Clover beat Westwood 27-0. And Ware Shoals over Carolina Academy 24-0. Chapman over Walhalla 61-6. Wade Hampton over Southside 48-0. And let's see, Pendleton 45-42 over Easley. And we had One other final that I wanted to mention here from the upstate. Greenville beat Malden 21-19. And let's see if I can find that last one I just put in there. I'll have to come back and see if I can locate it. But that's the bulk of the upstate finals. As far as that Spartanburg and Greenwood situation, going by the scoring in the upstate from WSPA TV and their scoreboard, they do not have – they still have it in the second quarter, so I can only assume that game's just not progressing. Maybe Justin Mathis knows something about it, being that he's on the Dorman crew, but I'm sure he keeps up with Spartan High as well in that game, Spartan High and Greenwood. But how about that Dorman-Burns game? Justin Mathis, welcome in. How about a great win for the Cavaliers tonight? No doubt about it.
The interesting ball game, Phil. October heavyweight fight in the second week of August. Just like we all drew it up, right?
Yeah, well, no time like the present to have a great game, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was quite the ball game. I mean, first play from scrimmage, Dorman picks off a Burns pass, 28 yards for a touchdown. Excuse me, I just walked up this flight of stairs. It's quite
hard to talk
here
when you're out of breath. I know the feeling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, it was just a great game. You know, I had the pick six, Braden Carson. Then, Burns came back a couple plays later, scored. Then kind of went back and forth. Burns went ahead 21-14 on a Segura touchdown, which I don't even know the final stats because we literally just got done a few minutes ago. but it was quite the ball game. Segura, I think, bounced back from what happened against Dorman a year ago. Dorman held him last year to, 17 carries, 51 yards last year. He had more than that tonight, but somehow, some way, Dorman forced turnover on downs. Here we go. The defense came up with a couple of big stops. Then Nick Means punched it in out of the Gator formation, make it 28-21. Then, after Dorman's defense came up with a Jabez Thomas interception, his second of the game, Carter Nash on fourth and short from the 12-yard line corralled a bobbled snap that literally went up in the air, made every Cavaliers fan's heart skip about 5 beats. Grabbed it, took it right up the gut for a 12-yard touchdown to provide the final margin of 35-21 Dorman. 2 wins in a row over the Rebels in this series.
And a great start for Dorman this season after that 2-0 start.
Yeah, and Nick Means, Carter Nash doing what people have been expecting them to do, be that 1-2 punch. Do want to note Jacoby Fuller got hit hard. I think it was in the early third quarter, took a hard hit on the sideline, did not return. Prayers for that young man. Hopefully he'll be all right. I mean, as you would expect, both these teams are dealing with cramps.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just what a game between these two age-old rivals in a series that's been played at least once a year since 1964. So now Dorman has now won 2 in a row, and Coach Morris off to a 2-0 start in his fourth year at the helm.
Yeah. Who's next week for Dorman?
They have the bye week. You know, it's going to be an interesting opponent.
Yeah.
before a road trip to Gaffney on September 11th.
Oh, boy. Another game of the century. All right. Hey, have you heard anything more on Spartanburg Greenwood? Y'all been keeping up with that game?
Last I saw it was 7-0 at the half, and they were playing 8-minute quarters because they had a big delay down there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Hey, thank you, Justin. Great talking to you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Y'all be blessed now.
You too. Thank you very much. Okay, David. They're playing 8-minute. I tell you, it's just like, are they making up the rules game by game here when it comes to these weather situations?
That's what they do. Hey, let's just play 2 quarters tonight.
I mean, seriously.
And if we're winning, we will take the win. But if you're winning, we want a no contest.
So was I right? Was I reading Scott Early correctly? You think was he taking a sublime shot at the high school league for not stepping up here and putting out some sort of directives on how to deal with this?
Yeah, and then I picked up the mantle and ran with it.
Yeah,
because his job, he definitely has to, but he represents coaches, and he's right. I mean, there ought not be this much confusion over this stuff.
Well, I mean, they got all this new leadership and this new directives and Congress involved and all that. And they're sitting on their hands. It's 2 weeks in a row that we're dealing with the same stuff. Something should have been done. I mean, at least be like the SEC. I mean, the SEC issued a proclamation basically at LSU. It's not doing them any good, but at least they did something, Let's see here. I got the score I was looking for in the upstate. It was Crescent beating Palmetto 37-20. So we pretty much got our upstate sheet covered up, except for that Spartanburg and Dorman game. Spartanburg and Greenwood game. No telling when that game's going to get over. Let's see if I got anything new here in the Midlands that we haven't mentioned. Let's see. And we did that. Claire Dot, we did that. River Bluff, Hammond, Hilton, Irmo 37-0 over Spring Valley. Lower Richland beat Lakewood 21-6. Lee Central beat Mullins 8-0. South Aiken over Airport 31-14. Don't have a score on Keenan and Dreer coming in yet, so looking for that. And David, we got about a minute. So from your end, besides all the weather issues and everything else tonight, what stands out to you?
Well, I think Dorman's win is it's kind of an early statement. I think Bishop England being 2-0 with their defense being as good as it's been in the first 2 weeks. Dutch Fort kind of was Dutch Fort tonight. Had 35 points before halftime, and if they finish it, they might hit 70. But it's shaping up. But it's no major surprises. There's just some. We just got to get through this weird weather stuff.
Yeah. Well, you have a great weekend. Thank you for everything. Great job tonight. Thanks to everybody who called in, and thanks to all of you who listened, you players, you coaches, and you fans out there. We appreciate you. Have a great weekend.